Hello, hello, hello. It's your new day with Donna Reiners and Dr. Kami Owen, where we solve all the world's problems, or maybe just one, and maybe it's yours. In our 30 minutes, we talk about your emotions and mind and how they tie into your body and spirit. We want you to renew and restore yourself in a world that wants you crazy. And sometimes we even talk about money. Introducing your hosts, Donna Reiners and Dr. Kami Owen. Well, hello, hello, hello. I'm Donna and
Dr. Kami.
Dr. Kami. We're here again today to talk with you and to encourage you and strengthen you, because this is a new day for you. And we were discussing what are hot topics in the world. There are a lot of hot topics in the world, but honestly, we want to talk about a topic in the heart. And what's on my heart today is despair. And what is despair? I know we have talked about this before, but despair is when you wake up and you don't want to wake up. Despair is when you feel as if nobody loves you, nobody cares about you, and you don't even know why you're on the planet. Despair starts usually with one little incident at a time. And sometimes it can start with a traumatic incident, like losing a loved one suddenly, or having a tragic loss, such as a divorce, where you're devastated mentally and emotionally, sometimes even financially, right? Mm-hmm. And so what do you do when you're devastated? Because honestly, we can understand why we're devastated till the cows come home, but how can you honestly and physically and emotionally and mentally begin the ascent out of that place that is so strong? And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, and we'll see where it rolls. And Dr. Kami, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's interesting when I have clients come in and they have a medical diagnosis. They're having physical symptoms many times. I would say more than 80% of the time. Because I always ask the question, what preceded your illness? Mm-hmm. And almost 80% of the time, there is some event. And most people, I'm also very shocked to see.
They know what it is?
They know what it is. And awesome. It can be all of those things you just, mm-hmm. That's when my mom died. That's when my husband died. That's when I found out my husband was having an affair. That's when we lost our business. Saw a lot of that in COVID, post-COVID, people losing their entire livelihood. Wow. Yeah. And so many, especially men, so many men identify with what they do rather than who they are. And, a lot of men I've seen in the last 2 years that, we're just in that despair. And then that despair turns into heart issues, liver issues, because liver is anger, and they're very angry about losing everything. Sure. And it's interesting. I can tell a lot about where they are emotionally by where the symptoms are in their body. So despair will show up physically and signal in the body, but it starts with one of those events.
And it's different from when, let's say, you just don't feel good, mm-hmm. right? Not feeling good can move into something that akin to depression, mm-hmm. because maybe you don't know why you don't feel good. So there's practical things that we can do. There's practical things with the physical body that we can do to help the body, say, make a new decision to come alive, yes. or make a new decision not to remain. And there are times when it can happen quickly, financially, if you have the ability to visit someone that knows how to help you basically get an electrical charge, you can actually bring yourself out of some things that yes. would take you years.
Yes.
And then there are things you can do just practically in your daily life to remind yourself to live. And I've done a few of those things, like simple things like, I know meditation's all the rage, but most people who are super busy don't feel like they have the time to meditate. So you can start with 1 minute a day, mm-hmm. 60 seconds a day, roll out of bed, just roll on the floor and just lay there for a minute with intention. So you've already been in bed. So why would I roll over and lay down on the floor? Because now you're laying on the floor with a purpose. You're laying in bed without a purpose, but you're laying on the floor with purpose. And what's the purpose? To tell your body to live, to tell your mind it's going to be okay. My husband used to tell me years back, he still does ever so often when I get a bluesy moment, he'll just look at me, he'll be able to see, and he'll say, Donna, the sun's going to come up tomorrow. It's going to be a new day.
That sounds like a good song.
And you're going to be okay. It's a country song, no doubt. Anyway, that's one little thing. But what are other things we can do in our normal, natural lives?
Well, I would also be very conscious. There's something called conscious language, and I'd be very conscious about the actual words chosen when you're setting that intention. It's going to be okay is still in the world of lack.
It is, and
because
it's in the future.
It's not happened yet, but there's actually only now. And I know that sounds very airy-fairy, new agey and
or
all
cliche
that.
when you're feeling exhausted.
But here's how it actually works. Space and time is like this. Okay, we have to go through space and time, but that's in this 3D perception we have of the world. But actually, time is an illusion. It's actually like this in this one moment. So where you dial in, think of this like a dial on a radio dial. Where you dial in is what your perception of that particular moment is. So if your moment is going to be that's not actually dialing into a specific moment. That's actually intending to dial into a specific moment. So I am healthy and well. I am joyful. I am choosing life is different than I'm gonna do it someday, maybe, but not now, which is basically what you're saying when you say I'm going to feel better. Then that's someday, maybe, but not now.
Being present is so important, especially when you're dealing with an emotional crisis or an emotional depth. Many times we don't understand why we're in that dark place. We don't understand how we got there. And though that's important in that moment where you are, like right now, if you're in a space right now where you're just in dark, deep moment, I want to just bring you out of the dark, deep moment, right? I want to bring you into the sun. Like I was talking about when Craig would say, hey, the sun's going to come up. And Cammie's like, no, the sun is up. You are okay. You're not going to be okay. So I just want to encourage you to now this may sound outlandish. So some of my training has had to do with not just reprogramming the way I think about things, but give myself something so outlandish on the inside of me that my subconscious, my soul, let's just say, so my soul can really grab a hold of it, even though it seems impossible. For instance, one of the things I would lead people through when we were doing some visualization to help people move forward from a traumatic instance would be, I loved taking people in a visualization and jumping off a cliff backwards. And then I would literally have them jump off the cliff backwards and do flips until they saw themselves flying. And I would take them through flying through the Grand Canyon. Now, I've only been at the Grand Canyon once, but online you can see how beautiful it is. And I would take them through, and some of them had never, ever, ever done anything like that before. So for them, it was like, whoa, oh, it's like a physical, an actual real event inside them. And they're honestly, their body doesn't know it's not really happening in the physical because it's really, really happening inside their mind. And if you can tell your mind, I'm alive, if you can tell your mind with intention, I am flying, I am in movement, I am reaching for the stars, I'm co-creating whatever, or I am walking to the mailbox today. That can be the big moment for you. If you've been in bed for 3 years, that may not seem like a big moment to somebody else, but in your mind, see yourself taking action steps. It is almost as if, and it is as if you actually did it.
Yes.
So create something inside of you. And I have had some clients who are like, I just don't see anything. I just see myself in a black hole. And so when you are able to see what you truly would like. Let's say you have a dream. I know someone who actually wants to go to the Maldives Islands. And I've only seen pictures on TV and things like that, but absolutely beautiful. I can definitely see how someone would want to go there. To me, it's a little bit too much effort for my heart. I don't really want to go there. I want to go somewhere where all the restaurants are handy and, and maybe visit there for a day, but not be there for like a month or two. But that for her brings her this very strong peace that literally calms her down. But this is the thing. The other part of her doesn't want to visualize it because she doesn't think she can ever do it. So she's caught in this web of unbelief while she's attempting to tell her body to believe. So could you help us in the practical world? Tell us how we can take our place in that space where we want to go, which will really give us the greatest benefit, while not losing hope that we could sometime maybe obtain it. Because this person doesn't think she'll ever be able to, and she may not. I don't know what'll really happen, but if you shoot for that, at least maybe you'll get Hawaii. Something in between. Right. I don't know.
Right. Well, that is a state of having the foot on the glass, the foot on the gas, and the foot on the brake at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it's really a choice. Like I keep going back to that because that's really how it works. Mm. And she can honor, it's never going to happen and I'm never going to get there. She can certainly honor that. It's not wrong or right. She can honor that, or she can honor the other side of possibility, because there's infinite possibility. And then what we actually focus on and put our attention to, that's where our energy flows. And that's what the call out to the universe is. So if she puts even a little bit of energy on it's never going to happen, it's never going to happen, there's a little bit of it's never going to happen going on. Mm-hmm. But if she puts all of her energy into this is what I choose and creating that, guess what? Most likely will happen. Somebody else send her a ticket to the.
You never know.
Well, I would argue you could know. If you choose it. We are really that powerful of manifestors and materializers. We really are. We just forgot. We forgot we're that powerful beings because we got God in us,
and we're not taught that we're that powerful either.
I would even go a step further. We are discouraged. We are made fun of. We are absolutely kept down from knowing how powerful we are, because there is a lot of powerful beings that are in powerful places that don't have the power we have.
That's very, very true.
And so they are very intentional about keeping that out of our realm of possibility. Just think of a child that comes out of the womb is full of possibility. And at some point, when a baby is born, if you could give a score of the most perfect human 100 and they come out, I would argue that everyone can look at a little newborn baby and give it 100, right?
Yeah.
And if you can't, then let's chat about that. But at some point, we start deducting points from that human, that perfect human that came out. And at some point, maybe when they're in their 30s, we give them a 75 instead of 100. They're actually no different. They're no different than that 100 baby that came out. We've just assigned the deduction of points, or they have assigned it to themselves.
So let's change that. In our short time, you have time to change your own personal narrative,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm having to change my narrative. I kind of have no choice with her. And so I want you to have something today that's so practical that over the next week, you can practice it on a daily basis until we meet in a week. And so I want you to choose something to visualize that completely contradicts the state you're in.
Yes.
If you are financially in a place where you just don't have a pot to pee in, which recently I actually found out what that actually is. It literally was.
Yes.
You did not have a pot to pee in, and it was used for horses.
Yes.
So fascinating when you look that up.
Yes.
But if you are in a place where you're just really devastated and you just don't see the possibility, I want you to visualize the possibility. If for you the visualization is seeing millions of dollars in your hands, then do that. If the visualization for you is going to a bank and getting money out, whatever it is for you, or maybe we just need to plant some things for you. So if it's finances, I want you to see yourself holding money. If you're in a deep despair and you know you are, but nobody knows, I want you to see yourself in a being very, very productive in life, doing something you love so much that you can feel the smile come on your face when you visualize it. If you are wanting something and because you don't have it, maybe you want a spouse, maybe you want a child, maybe you want to get well, whatever it is, I want you to picture you having that. Now, just like this other person, which she wants to do that, and she has this unbelief on the side because she's in circumstances that literally negate her from taking action. Mm-hmm. And it'll be a hot moment before she can get there. Okay. In our real world. But what if the visualization and the creativeness inside of us is so strong that it changes you here and now to where you actually have joy on a regular basis, even though you don't have that money in your hand yet, or you don't have that spouse, or you don't have that child, or you don't have the Maldives or Maldives Islands where you're putting your feet in the water. What if your mind thinks you're there all the time, mm-hmm. and you're not, but yet you are? What could that do? What can that do on the inside of us?
It absolutely changes who you are in that moment. It literally changes who you are. So there's a phenomenon. Most people think you have to have something so that you can do the thing, so you can be the thing. What we're saying is to flip that. You have to be it first. And once you be it, then you do it, and then you have it. So it's a be, do, have.
That's deep.
Be, do, have instead of have, do, be.
Oh, wow. I love that. So
you have to be it. People say, I want $1 million. I want to have $1 million. I have been, before I ever had money, I don't have a lot of money, but we're okay. I had in my mind, and I would say this to myself out loud every day, I am a millionaire. It just hasn't been deposited in my account yet. That's it. Like who I was a millionaire. I am successful. And what do millionaires do? I looked at some millionaires. What do they do? Well, they don't sit around watching TV till, middle of the day. They get up, they do what's required. They do the actions, whatever that is. And if you choose to have a certain thing in your life, look at the people that have that thing in their lives. And at the first, if you don't have any clue what that would look like, just copy them. It was funny. I was talking to a client that just got back from Las Vegas, and we were talking about gambling. And I'm not a big gambler, but when I do go to Vegas, sometimes I'll play craps.
Oh my goodness, we do the same thing.
And when
it's crazy.
And the first few times I went to play craps, it's an intimidating game. If you don't know what the heck's going on, it's lots of energy and lots of yelling and lots of fun going on. And I'd go over and look. And so I just decided, I saw a guy that had like a stack of blacks, and he kept getting more blacks. I'm like, okay, he's got something going on here. So I would, in my much smaller denominations, would do exactly what he did every time. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea. And then all of a sudden they just start giving me chips. I like, oh, that's good. And I just see what he's doing, And so I just copied him. And I use that the case method all the time. Are you familiar with the case method?
No, but it makes sense to me. Keep going.
Copy and steal everything.
Oh.
So that's the case method. So you can copy someone and mimic what they're doing.
Imitation is the best flattery.
It is. And do what they do. And those behaviors will get you one step at a time to the next level until you actually wake up and you're like, wow, I have it.
So what I'm hearing is in practicing what someone else is doing that has caused them to be successful in the very area you want to be successful, what you're doing is you're practicing belief.
Yes.
You're practicing belief in what they're doing, but also your body is saying and your soul is thinking, oh, I believe in myself.
I agree with that.
Look at this. I believe. So you're putting belief in you.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. So if you're in bed today or you're just lounging, whatever, what have you, when you think about someone that you admire that is out going about their business and visualize yourself and maybe join that club they've joined.
Yes.
You may or may not like it, but at least you've taken action.
Yes.
Yes. I don't necessarily recommend you go play craps, but hey, maybe that'll get you out of your funk too.
It also could be as easy as
the energy.
It could be as easy as, because I find people that are in this despair, in this depression, their environment reflects that.
Oh, man.
Their immediate environment.
That's true. Open the blinds. Oh my goodness.
So I would say if you're in your bedroom, have a look around. Is it in disarray? Is there clothes everywhere? Has that bed not been made in months? Has the sheets, let's talk about those sheets. Have they not been washed in a long time?
How often should we wash sheets, Dr. Kami?
I don't know.
I just thought maybe head inside that. I'm like, that sounds like an interesting topic too.
I would say when they're dirty. That's what I would say. Actually, there's been some studies done on women versus men and grounding blankets. We could talk about that at another time. But back to your environment. Look at your environment, because your external environment reflects your internal environment. So someone that has a very chaotic external environment, I would argue there's some chaos going on in there. So if you could get your external and internal environment to match and don't make it wrong. If it is chaos, then just own the chaos and just be with it and sit with it, acknowledge it, know that it's there instead of, oh no, I don't want to see that. Because as long as you do that, you can't acknowledge it and then actually do something about it, be in action about it. So that could be one of your action items, is to get up and clean your room.
I love that. And if you have blinds that have not been opened in a while,
open your blinds.
Open your blinds. If you haven't washed your dishes in a while, I know that would really, really be scary for someone if you've got dishes everywhere. Maybe take one dish and go to the bathtub and clean it, because you probably have so much stuff in your sink that you can't even get to the water. So I'm just thinking about practical, real life stuff that gets you, and then you get deeper and deeper in your despair. And then you can't invite anybody over because your house is a mess, and then you're exhausted and you don't want to invite anybody over anyway. So all these things, that dark, depressive atmosphere didn't happen overnight. And give yourself permission to let it come forth, come into the light, to change it. And at the same time, you can still change the inside of your world, regardless if you're not ready to address this outside world.
Yes.
And so see yourself washing those dishes.
Yes.
See yourself washing with a smile and happy. Put on some music, and inside you do the cha-cha as you're washing the dishes, whatever. But I want to hear back from you.
Yes.
If this is something that you actually take action on.
Yes.
We do have, it's called A New Day with Donna May, and you'll see information at the end, and that would reach out to both of us. Love to hear from you. Love to see how we can assist you in these practical things of changing your private world. You know, Kami is an expert in frequency, and I guess I'm just an expert in understanding your emotional, the reality of your emotional framework, and together we just want to bring you out out into where you're really going to thrive and not just survive.
Yes, I agree. And the other thing that I think is a great topic for another show, but I'll just leave you with this. Be your own best friend. A lot of times our internal dialogue is something that we would never say to even our worst enemy. So are you being your own best friend? Talk to yourself in the state of whatever state you're in, to actually talk to yourself as you would if your very best friend called you and said, I am having this struggle. Would you say, oh, just lay there and be a big lump and you get what you deserve and you're just a lazy slug? And these are usually the internal dialogue that we have, the tapes playing, instead of, give yourself some grace, give yourself some compassion. Be the most compassionate person you can be for you. It's not something in the female world. It's definitely not something we're taught as women to have compassion for ourselves. So I would say, be your best friend today.
And just start a little mantra. I'm healed, I'm whole, I'm restored.
Yes.
And then breathe. And just say again, I'm healed, I'm whole, I'm restored. And in wonder, be curious. Wow, I'm healed, I'm whole, I'm restored. And have such intention that you come back to attention toward yourself. And be kind. I love that. I have I created something like that recently called Be Your Own Best Friend. And you know that Miley Cyrus song, You can buy yourself flowers, all that. Maybe so. You can buy yourself flowers, but all those things don't matter if you don't change the internal dialogue inside your heart. Yes. It won't matter how many flowers you have.
Yes.
Because you won't change. And we have to change. I'm changing. She's making me change. Excuse me. I'm choosing to change.
Yes.
Because of the positive influence that's around me. And I'm thankful for it. And we're glad we can be together to embark on this adventure.
Absolutely. We will see you again soon.
That's right. Until soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining Your New Day with Donna Reiners and Dr. Kami Owen. We look forward to seeing you next time. Remember, we solve all the world's problems, or maybe just one, and maybe it's yours. Until soon.